So we start discussion on our second type of controller, which is a standard list controller, right? Yesterday we discussed about standard controller, and we saw that it's a very simple kind of a controller where we use a standard controller. We just call that controller, and we can then bring in the data from that particular controller on the page and stuff, right? So it's very simple kind of a controller that we have, the standard controller. But there was one limitation with the standard controller. We were able to display only one record on the page, and we always had to supply the record ID in the URL. Okay, and one Visualforce page can only display one record at a time. Got it? Now what if I want to create a page to display a list of records? Then what do I do? Like, then we use standard list controller. Okay, so standard list controller is very similar to a standard controller. You will not write any of your own logics. You will just use the the default logics of Salesforce, or you will just use the standard controller. But this will allow you to display multiple records on the page, like multiple accounts, multiple opportunities, multiple contacts. So you don't have to supply the ID in standard list controller. Okay, so it's very simple to create a page with a standard list controller. Just go ahead, create a normal Visualforce page. Define the standard controller. Okay, so for standard list controller also you'll have to define the standard controller first, and then you have to define one more attribute. Because you want to display a list, you have to define one more attribute which is called record set var. Okay, and record set var basically stands for record set variable. So it is basically a variable that you define for the set of records. Got it? So variable name you can give anything. I can call it ACTS, whatever you want. That's it. So if you want to display multiple records on the page, then you have to define the standard controller as we usually do on a standard controller page. Along with that, you have to define one more variable. So this variable holds multiple records from this object, from my standard controller object. All right. Now I will use this variable in the code to display the list of records, because this is a variable which holds the list of records. So I'm going to use this variable to display the list of records. So the next thing that I'm going to do is create a page block, call it list of accounts. Alright. Now, because I'm talking about a list of records to be displayed, I need a table to display that. So now I cannot simply write account.name, right? Because I'm talking about multiple records now. So if you have to display multiple records on a page, then what we'll have to do, we'll have to use a table to hold all those records. So I will use another component which is called Apex page block table. Inside the table we can create columns and we can define the values of different fields, right? So for an Apex page block table there are two required attributes. One is value. What do you want to display inside the table? ACTS. Value means what data you want to display. One is variable, again another variable for this expression. So you can define a variable for this expression. So you can name it anything, A. Inside the table we can create columns, and in column what you want to display, you can just say. So now because it's a column and I'm talking about displaying names of the accounts, as a column it can accommodate multiple records as well, right? So it's not a single cell, it's a column, complete column. So first column I put account name, second column I put account industry, see. So I've created two columns. First column is account name, second is industry. If you need one more column to display the account type, then you should just create that column inside the table. A dot type. See, we got one more column. I want one more for a dot phone number, one more for a dot fax. So do you see this? Simple, creating a table. Now in this example, I don't have to supply the ID in the URL. So there is no need to supply the ID in the URL, right? Because it displays all the records of that particular object. Simple. Okay, let me just go to accounts. Okay. Okay, so are we clear on this concept, how we have created a standard list controller? Any questions, please let me know. Okay, we are good. Great. All right. Now, in case you want one of these fields to be editable, right now what is happening? This field is not editable. Okay. Now Veta has a question. What is ACT here? Okay. Anyone who can explain what is ACT here? Anyone who understood what exactly ACT is? Quick. Now I want the exact answer. ACT, this one. We just discussed about it. What is this? This is a variable, right? It's a variable which holds the set of records from the account object. Naveta, is that okay? So this is the variable which holds a set of records from this object. But we understand what a variable is, right? Naveta, can you please quickly tell me yes or no? Did you understand? Did not understand? No. Okay. So please, turn on your microphone and please try to speak so that we can save a little bit of time. If you guys have any questions, it's always okay that you just unmute yourself and start speaking instead of we wasting a lot of time just typing and waiting for your responses. Please start speaking and just leave any other busy stuff that you're doing, just leave that aside for 1 hour of the session. Yes, Navita, please go ahead. Please go ahead. I'm waiting for you, Navita.
I didn't understand the variable.
Good. So if you do not understand anything, please try to speak over the, yeah, I can hear you. If you do not understand anything, please try to speak over the microphone. That is the reason why we are using GoToMeeting, right? So chatting becomes very difficult. All right. So you know what is a variable? Do you know what is a variable? A variable, mathematics, variable x. Remember? We used to use variable. So variable is basically something which keeps on changing values. Okay, so variable is something which can hold certain values, right? Like a photo frame. So photo frame is what? It holds a photo. So you can keep on changing the photos there, right? But frame is fixed, right? So the same way, variable is something which holds certain values, okay? And this variable holds data. In this case, a variable holds data, right? So this is a variable which will hold the list of records from this particular object. Account is an object, right? Now this is a variable which is used for holding the data of that particular object. Got it? If I have to, I have account, okay? And in account I have account object. Under account object I have 200 accounts. All right. Now if I have to call all those 200 accounts, how will you call them? What is the best way of doing that? If you have to call all those 200 accounts at once, what will you do that? What will you do? Last session we were talking about single record. We called them using ID. But is it a good idea, to call them by ID because there will be 200 IDs of the 200 accounts? So what is the best way of doing that? The best way is define a variable for all those 200 accounts. Correct. So in other words, I was given a name to all those records from this object. Correct. Now wherever I have to call those 200 accounts, instead of calling the IDs or names of all those 200 records, what I can do is I can just use this variable. Got it? So I can reference this variable there. Yeah, go ahead. You have a question on that? Sorry?
For this V6 file, you have created this one, or it is already there in the account object. Acts.
So it's based on this line, right? So whatever is your standard controller object, if it was opportunity, it would have been the list of records from opportunity. You still have a doubt?
I was asking, what is it?
Your voice is not that clear.
An account object, or is this acts already saved an accounts object?
Okay, that is the reason why I again continuously keep on saying you guys pay attention. While I was writing this, I told you this can be anything. This can be your name also. So variable, you can name it anything. Does not make a difference, right? So you can name the variable anything. That's your choice what you want to call it. Now this variable becomes a name for all the records of account object. Now if you have defined it as Navyata here, then while you're calling it in the code, you should write Navyata here. So you can write your name, my name, anything. Why I wrote acts? Because that's something which sounds similar to accounts. You can call it President of US, no problem at all with that. Correct? So variables anywhere, not here only, anywhere where you are defining a variable, It's your choice to give it a name. The other variable also, this variable a, this is a variable for this what is this, for this expression. A is a variable for this long expression. So instead of using this long expression, what I'll do is I'll define a small variable and I'll call it. So see, every time I don't have to write that long expression, I can call the small variable. I think someone just typed in the chat window alias. So this is like an alias only, right? So instead of calling this full thing, I can just use this small variable, right? So this variable also you can name it anything. Instead of a, you can name it ABCD, whatever you want. Correct? So wherever we are defining a variable, it's our choice what name we want to give. Whatever name we have given, we'll call the same name. That's it. Now is that clear?
Okay, I understand. Yeah.
All right. Clear with everyone else? Any questions, doubts? I'm changing it back to ACTS, though it does not make any difference, but still. All right. So we have the page created. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns here. Right. Now, next thing that we are going to do on this is make the fields editable. Now, for example, you want on the interface. Now, this is a page that you've created for multiple records, right? Now, on the same page, you want to edit the phone numbers, for example. You tell me that, hey, you know what? I want to be able to edit the phone numbers here. So in that case, what will we need to do? What did we do yesterday for editing? We used a component. What was the component name? Yesterday we used a component for editing the values of the field. What was the name of the component? Anyone who remembers? No one? Okay. Input field. We can use input field component here as well. All right. That gives me a good idea of how much practice you people are doing. So please don't skip your practice. Work on the codes, and if you don't work on every day, can we have the mics muted for 1 minute? Let me finish. Yeah. If you don't work on everyday codes, you will have difficulty, when things are accumulated. So don't wait for too many sessions to happen and then you will start practicing. So don't do that. All right. Yeah. Someone was trying to say something. Please go ahead now. I think. Okay. So input field is what we'll have to use, but input field itself is a component. I want to call that input field component inside the column. Now I'm simply not displaying the value of one record. I've put the value inside the column. So I'm already using a component called column, and I am displaying the value as columns, right? Inside the column I need input field component, which is another component. So it's very simple. What we have to do is I'll have to insert the input field component. Try and understand this. I'll have to insert the input field component inside the column component. So how that is done? It's very simple. If I have to insert some component inside column component, then what I should do is I should start apex column and I should end it. So there should be a start and there should be an end of this. Correct? Now within these you can just put your input field. And give the value here. That's how simple you have, it is. A dot phone, right? So now that phone field will, okay, so there is an error. Anyone who can tell me, reading the error, what is the error? We need a form component. Yes. So where should I put the form component? Which line would be best for putting the form? Where should I put the form component? Which line would be best for putting the form?
After apex page.
Okay. And where do I end it?
Before apex page ending.
Right. So it's not necessary that you always have to put it here. Necessary that you always have to put it here. Mic mute, please. Yeah, it's not necessary that. It's not necessary that. Hello. Yeah. Okay. So you know, while we are using apex form, as I discussed yesterday, it's a good habit to put it right after the apex page and close it before the apex page, but it is just required to cover the input field thing. Okay, so you could have put it here also, and you could have ended it here. So between line 8 and 10 you could have put this apex form, but the problem is that with that sort of apex form will be that you'll have to keep too much of track of where exactly you are using input field and other form components. All right. So if you put it right after the apex page, you are tension free. Then you know that okay, fine, wherever I want whatever input field kind of things I can use, right? So this is a very small code. Usually when you are creating pages, and you might have a code of 50-60 lines, so keeping a track of where exactly input field is starting and then just going and putting an apex form component there becomes a little difficult. So what most of the times we do is we just put it here. So any page which has to be interactive. Interactive means where there will be something for the end user to do, like the end user needs to input something or he needs to click on some button. That sort of pages will always have a form component. So you know that this page has got this is an interactive page, and you can simply use this apex form component right up to the apex page. All right. So now my input field is there, and if you see it now this column appears as input field. So if you want to change some phone number to 134567891, you can do that, right? But again, the change is happening only on the interface. It's not happening on the database, right? So if you actually want to make the changes in the database, then what you'll have to do, you will have to have that save button, right? So let me have a save button also here after the page block. So the save button is something which you can put anywhere. It does not have to be within the table itself. So command button has two attributes. One is value. Value means what text you want to display on the button. Save it now. So this can be anything. Save it now, write your name, whatever text you want to display on the button. So this is basically the label of the button. And action. So action has to be saved. Yesterday we used the save action. Today we are going to use another action, which is quick save. Save it now. See, this data got updated. Okay, now if you're thinking what is quick save, why did I put quick save? There are two types of save operations or save actions which are available in the standard controller. One is save, another is quick save. Okay, save action will save the data and take you back to the original page of the record. Okay, the detail page. So it will come out of the Visualforce page and take you to the actual page. Quick save will save the changes and stays on the same page. A save action will save the changes and exit the page. Okay, so that save button will save the changes and exit the VF page, go to the actual detail page. quick save will save the changes and keep you on the same page, right? Now, if my current action on this button is quick save, which means if I make some changes here, if I make some changes, let's say 543976540. Now, this has an action quick save, so if I click on this, what will happen? It will save the changes and it will keep me on the same screen. See, the changes got saved and I'm still on the same screen, on the same page actually, on the Visualforce page. So I do not go out of that page. Correct? Now, small thing which you might have noticed, if not notice it now. The moment I converted it into an input field, the label of the column is gone. For all other fields, the label came by default. So whenever you are using a column component, by default it gets the label. Okay, it gets the label by default because in the column you define the value. Okay, and it gets the label from the field name. So when I say a.type, it takes the label from here, which is quite logical. But in this case, what is happening? I have not defined a value here, so this column does not know what value is to be displayed here. So it is not able to show me any default label. However, we do have an option of putting our own label. We call it header value. Okay, you can give it a header value phone. See, so this is a custom label that we have given. So if you define the value inside the column, then it by default takes the label from the field name. However, because I use the input field component inside that and I remove the value attribute from the column, so it was not able to use the default label, and now it's able to use that, the custom defined label header value that I have defined. Alright. Now, I'm hoping this is clear to everyone. Now there is one more requirement that we need to deal with here. In case we get a requirement saying that, see, now what has happened is I have made it input field, but this is looking really odd. I mean, this does not look really nice. The data being displayed in the input field format. Okay. So the other way of doing the same thing is displaying the data as it is. Okay. Display the data as it is, and it should be editable when we double click on it. Okay. So that is called an inline edit. Inline edit means you should be able to click on a certain cell, or you should be able to double click on a certain cell and edit the value. Okay, so that's called inline edit. So I'll create another page for that. Apex/v7. Okay, so this time let me work with opportunity now. All right, standard controller equals opportunity. All right. So what should I write? I want you all to help me write the code. So I want to create a table of all the opportunities. So what should I write here?
Standard controller.
Only controller or standard controller?
Standard controller.
Standard controller, okay. Equals
Opportunities.
Opportunity, sorry. Standard controller equals opportunities, correct?
Yeah. Opportunity or opportunities is fine.
Anything is fine.
Yeah.
How come?
No, object name. We should keep only the object name.
So what is the object name?
Opportunity.
Okay, let's keep it opportunities. because no one has an objection, so I'll go with it. All right. What is the next thing that we'll have to do? Shall I go to the next line?
No, record set where to store the values.
God said where.
Store the records.
Okay. What should be the value here?
Anything.
Anything.
We should keep the variable x.
Whatever. OPS. Okay. Opportunity is a short form for that. All right. Now can I go to the next line? Now what is the other component that we need? What's the next component that we need? Quick, quick, quick. I want everyone to suggest.
Form tag.
What is that?
Form.
Form tag, just in case if you want to edit anything.
Okay. So if you say a form component, I will put it. A form component here. Okay. What next? Okay, what next? Form component is ready. Now what is the next component? What will we have to create? Because we want to display my multiple records. So page block, very good. Apex page block. Okay, shall I give it a title? Let me give it a title, list of opportunities. Now what is the next component? Page block is done. Now what is the next component that we need?
Column.
Column. Before column, do we need something else? Where would you put your columns? The columns need some some parent to fit in, right? Page block table, right? Apex page block table. Okay, there are two required attributes on the page block table. One is value. So what will be the value here? Whoever answers this correct gets 10 out of 10. What should be the value? Wow. Yeah, so both of you are correct. It should be defined like this. Okay, so the variable name is defined with this exclamation mark. All right. Where oh, or it can be anything whatever you want. All right. Now what's the next component that we need?
Column.
Now time for us to start putting columns inside it. So in the column there is another attribute. What is that attribute that we have to use? Value. Now what do I put inside this? Inside value?
O dot column name.
Name.
O dot column name. So like name, okay. Can you give me some other columns for opportunity? One is an opportunity name. What other column names are there? What all fields are there? Can we have 5 or 6 fields from opportunity? In case you need a reference, go back to, just log into your developer editions, go to setup, customize opportunity fields and see the names and tell me. I need 5 or 6. If you know, just let me know. If you do not know, just go and check. Any 5 or 6 fields from opportunity, the common ones. Opportunity date, there is no field called date. Okay, Anju says account name. All right. So what is the name of that field, Anju? Account name field. O
It
dot
is account name. That's the name.
account dot name. Okay. Apart from this, what are the fields?
It's type also.
No, type. Is there a field called type on opportunity?
Yes, it's not good, but it is there.
Okay. I'm just typing in whatever you people are saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then there's amount.
Okay.
Mm, probability.
Stage.
Okay. One more, one last.
Tax.
Tax.
Yeah.
There's a field called tax on opportunity.
T as in
Oh,
English.
tax. Oh, tax is something that we created. Okay. So is this the correct name of that field?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I mean that's what I put in. I'm on the opportunity page, so I can see it.
No. Opportunity page will not show you the field name correctly. To see the field name, you should go to
I
setup,
have to go.
customize opportunity fields and go and check this one. This
Okay.
is not correct. So some of these field names are not correct. Tax is not correct. Stage is not correct. I'm not sure
Oh,
about probability. So just go and check these three.
okay.
So I want you to confirm the correct names of these three fields, last three fields. And also please check if there is a type field or not. Yeah.
Jeet, there's an opportunity stage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So isn't the stage correct?
Stage
That's
field
the
is there.
standard. That's the standard field.
The field is there. What I'm saying is go and check whether name of that field is stage only or something else.
Okay, got it.
So go to setup, customize opportunity fields and see, check if stage is the actual name or something else, maybe something before stage or something after stage.
Okay, there's account name, there's amount, close date, contract.
No, you just check these three fields if they are correct or not. That's it.
Stage is
Stage.
there, tax is not
Stage
there.
name. Jeet, the field name is stage name.
Yes. So see how deceptive Salesforce can be. So don't believe what you see on the page, on the detail page. Always go and check the field names in the fields list. Okay. So it appears as stage, but the actual field name is stage name. Okay.
No, one word, stage, and then N capital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next is tax. Can you just check if the tax is correct or not?
It's a custom field, so you know we have to label it tax, TAX.
Again, go and check the name of the field, not the label. API name.
It's tax, TAX.
Is there something after tax?
No. No.
Okay.
No.
Fine. So we will just save it. Okay. So first error. Why this error? There's nothing.
is no-
right. There's. We should write it opportunity. Okay. Let's save it. Second error. Anju, what did you check? It is still saying that there is no field called tax. Can you go back and check again, Anju? Go and check in the setup, customize opportunity fields.
Did I have one question here?
Hmm.
Okay.
is there any functionality in a Salesforce, like when we are typing the name of table, and when we press
No,
dot, all fields comes automatically?
no,
It's not here then.
no.
We didn't
We are
have to type
expecting.
every time.
No, no, no. We are expecting too much from Salesforce. It gives the component names, but not the field names and object names.
Okay, okay, I got it. So it's time consuming. Means if one error, there will be one mistake in one spelling. It will create a big problem.
Yeah. But that is the reason why we try to be on the safer side and check the names before we start putting them here. Okay, Anju, I'm waiting for that correct name of the tax field, because I'm using your login. That is the reason why I'm asking you. So you can go and check what is the correct name of this tax field.
It says that it's there. I'm just copying it and putting it in the chat box.
API name.
API name is tax underscore C.
Right, and it's not one underscore, it's a double underscore.
Double underscore.
Yeah, tax underscore C. Fine. So make sure that whenever you're using a custom field, you use a double underscore C, which is by default there in the API name. So just make sure that you are using either this.
Why do we use the API name instead of the actual name for this? And we have a field name and then API name.
Yeah, so field name is more like a label there, and API name is something which will be used for the programming purpose, right, in the coding. So for us to
label, and there's field name and then there's API name.
Yeah, so API name is the actual name actually. All right.
Oh.
This is something which you will always use in programming. So in programming we will always use API name. For standard fields, API name and normal name are same. But for custom objects or custom fields, you will always have to suffix a double underscore C at the end of the name. Okay.
Oh,
that's there. Right. So that we also understand which all are custom fields and which is a standard field, that sort of thing. Makes life easier for us also. All right. So that's it. Now all the fields are correct. So this is our opportunity, list of opportunities, right? Okay. And did you also notice one small thing here? o.account.name. Okay, so this is from opportunity, it goes to the account, and from account it takes the name. Correct? So if you want to display some field from the parent, account name is actually not a field on the opportunity object, right? It's a field on the account object. Correct? Account name is a field on the account object, which is a parent of opportunity. So if you want to display some field value, let's say if you want to display the phone number of that particular company, so phone number is not listed in the opportunity. So for that, what we have to do, we have to use o.account.4. That's it. Right. So this way, what I can do is I can bring in the data from the parent object. Here it is, the phone numbers. Here. Okay. So there's just one small thing that we will do here. As I told you that there's one functionality which is called inline edit. All right. Inline edit will make your page look exactly the way it is looking now. However, you will be able to double click on any particular record or any value and edit that. Okay. So for bringing in that functionality, you don't need to do anything. Just go to just go to the end of the table and say inline edit support. That's it. So you just have to define a component called inline edit support. This component will provide inline edit support. If you want to change a certain value, you can just double click on that and you can edit it. You change the name of this, you want to change the name of the account, you want to change the stage. Just double click and change it, right? So this is a little better than what we did earlier, where we created input field. So this seems to be a better solution than that, because it gives a better look and feel of the page. All right. And for making for saving the changes, again you need a command button with a quick save action. That's it. So end of it, you can just have a apex command button, save all, and you give it an action, quick save. That's it. Right. Any questions or doubts on this? Are we all okay on this? Fine. So that's about our standard list controller. Tomorrow we will start talking about the custom controller, the third type of controller, and that is where we start writing our own instructions to the page. What do we want to do and stuff, right? So okay, let's go back and practice this, and we meet tomorrow, and we